Let's imagine you're in the market for a large, luxurious SUV, but perhaps the mainstays of this class, for example, the Audi Q7, the Porsche Cayenne, even the Bentley Bentayga, you find a little too pretentious. So you still want large and comfortable and luxurious, but perhaps badge appeal is not your greatest concern. The Volkswagen Touareg then could be the one for you. The Touareg is the largest SUV which Volkswagen makes and is the manufacturer's flagship model. It's crammed full of the latest technology and is intended to help Volkswagen compete with truly premium rivals by offering a luxury experience for less. Can it succeed though? Well, in this review, we'll tell you what it's like to drive, how easy it is to live with, how spacious it is, and how comfortable it is. And remember, if you would like to buy one at the end of this review, go to our new car deals section where we can help save you thousands. First though, let's see what it's like to drive. Diesel is the order of the day, as it is with most cars in this class, and it's the 3-litre V6 that we recommend, in particular the higher powered version, because it makes overtaking and towing an absolute doddle. It sounds a little bit grumbly at idle, but once you get going and you're cruising, it definitely smooths out. And if it's not so much power that you're interested in, then the entry-level 3-litre is just simply good enough. If you want the kind of acceleration that welds your skull to the back of the headrest, then there is a 4-litre diesel, but bear in mind it does also have the running cost to go with it. If you're not doing the mileage to warrant buying a diesel, then there is a 3-litre petrol V6, and if you fancy some fast and frugal power, there's a 362 brake horsepower plug-in hybrid. Whichever version you go for, you get 4-wheel drive as standard and an 8-speed automatic gearbox, which is mostly smooth, although when you are pulling away from a standstill, it can feel a little bit hesitant, and if you're accelerating hard or pulling out to overtake, you can find it scratching its head a little bit. And in that case, I've been using this little downshift here, so we've got full control of our gears when we want them. If you specify your Touareg with the optional air suspension, it feels relaxed on the motorway, allowing you to cover long distances in great comfort. You can also raise to go off-roading or lower it for easier entry and loading. We certainly think the air suspension is a must-have option because we found the Touareg thumps over large bumps and jostles you from side to side over broken roads without it. Now, the Touareg is a large car, so it's no surprising that it leans a little bit in the corners, but it's not excessive. Even without air suspension, it doesn't feel like a tall ship at sea. And if you have ticked the box for air suspension, you also get 4-wheel steering, which gives you a really good turning circle for driving around town and greater stability when driving at speed. The Touareg's interior is different to what you'll find in other Volkswagens. No surprise perhaps, given that it's the brand's flagship car. Conventional instruments have been replaced by this configurable screen, and in top spec you'll find a massive 15-inch touchscreen infotainment system as well. In many ways, having this large screen is a big moment for Volkswagen because it's got rid of virtually every other single button that you would expect to find in a car. On the downside though, just to adjust some simple settings such as the climate control or some of the seat settings, you've got to go through menu after menu just to try and find what you want to do. And if you're on the move, it can be a little bit tricky. And it's angled towards the driver, so asking your passenger for help might not be so convenient either. On the plus side though, you can configure it like your mobile phone, so you've got regular items that you need access to often. Elsewhere, interior quality is a bit of a disappointment. Granted, the items that you touch often, such as the steering wheel and the gear selector, do feel very premium and good quality, but in other areas you can tell that bits have been taken from the Golf and the Tiguan, which is a little disappointing when the price tag is north of £50,000. That's a shame because it's very easy to find a comfortable driving position because there's plenty of adjustment in the steering wheel and also the seat, and these large windows mean you have great visibility. There's a whole host of parking aids should you need them, and all-round cameras for example, but parking sensors front and rear do come as standard. If you're looking at the Touareg with the aim of carrying 7 people, then you're out of luck, because even though it's based on the 7-seater Audi Q7, it is strictly just a 5-seater. That said, in the front there is so much space, it is borderline palatial, and there's also bucket loads of storage. There's some there, there's 2 cup holders there, more storage here, and decent sized door bins and decent sized glove box. Good news if you're over 6 foot tall, because there is so much space in the back here. There is plenty of legroom and headroom, even if you spec the optional panoramic sunroof. And if you sit in the middle seat, well, there is plenty of space, but you either have to straddle this tunnel or put your feet on top if they are small enough. Another nifty feature is your rear seat passengers can move the seat forwards, and if they would like to have a little sleep, they can do so. It's quite comfortable actually. In sliding these rear seats backwards and forwards, you can prioritise either boot space or legroom. Not that you should need to, because the Touareg's boot is even larger than the Q7's in 5-seat mode. So no matter who or what you're taking with you, you should have room to spare. That said, if you've had an adventurous day at IKEA, you can drop the rear seats to extend the load bay. There's also a useful function that lowers the back of the car if you've gone for the optional air suspension. It's worth noting that this Volkswagen has had its emissions tested with the new, far more strict WLTP tests, and that would explain why the CO2 emissions are slightly higher than some of its key rivals. 3 trim levels are offered, and we think the entry-level SEL models have everything you're going to want, including a simpler 9.2-inch touchscreen infotainment system with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto smartphone mirroring, heated front seats and adaptive cruise control. R-Line and R-Line Tech cars add extra luxuries such as a reversing camera, 4-zone climate control and a self-parking system. But this way the Touareg quickly becomes too pricey to recommend. Being based on the Audi Q7, which scored the full 5 stars in the Euro NCAP crash test, means that the Touareg is likely to be a very safe car as well. We like the Touareg's space, high-speed comfort and towing capability, but it is let down by its iffy interior and complicated infotainment system. Therefore, if you are in the market for a luxury SUV, we feel the Audi Q7 is better. For plenty more on the Volkswagen Touareg, including our full online review, head to whatcar.com. And remember, we can help save you thousands. Just go to our new car deals section for your next new car deal. But before you go anywhere, hit subscribe and never miss another video.